This video is brought to you by Keeps. Stick around until the end of the video to learn more. Well, I did not think it was possible. I didn't think it was possible that the Fairly OddParents series could go this low, that it could discover a new rock bottom. Like, this show is the worst thing to come from the franchise No Contest. I mean, I wish I had a fairy godparent so I could just wish this show away. Yeah, it's that bad. For those who don't know, I'm talking about the Fairly OddParents Fairly Odder, the newest addition to the Fairly OddParents brand. It's a live-action comedy series in the same vein as iCarly or Drake and Josh. But where those shows are actually somewhat funny and endearing, this one is not. Now, let it be known that this is not the first live-action adaptation for the franchise, as there were previous movies that featured Drake Bell, of all people, as Timmy Turner. But man, this reboot series is so much worse, which I didn't think was humanly possible. For the record, I plan on doing a video called What's Still Ruining the Fairly OddParents, and I want to release that later this month. Because, so much has changed since that video was uploaded in 2018. I actually watched the video yesterday, and I was like, wow, a lot of my predictions came true. So I think it's a topic that's worth revisiting, especially when it comes to the downfall of Butch Hartman. Oh, by the way, Butch, how's that O-Axis stuff coming around? You know, it's funny because part of your pitch for the O-Axis Kickstarter was dunking on other streaming services, but you're on Paramount Plus. Yeah, it's kind of ironic, Butch. Speaking of which, Paramount Plus is desperate for content. That was actually one of my predictions in my 2018 video, and how Viacom would struggle to compete with Netflix and other major streaming services. And that is exactly the case at this moment. Now, I'll touch more on this in my What's Still Ruining Fairly OddParents video, because there's a lot to unpack with Paramount and Viacom and how they were somewhat dormant during the 2010s with their properties. Which means, right now, they're we have SpongeBob, a Star Trek, and a Halo, I guess? You know what? Bring back the fairy show, but don't animate it, because that's something people wouldn't want to see. Oh my God. It's too much. It is too much, folks. Again, I didn't think it could get this worse, but here we are. They're like, yeah, let's remove one of our greatest strengths when it comes to our storytelling for our show that made it iconic, and instead trade it in for the limitations of live-action performers with a meager budget. Why not? That's what the people want, right? No, it's not. And also, your entire production is cheap, to the point where they actually bought costumes from Party City. I'm not joking. That suit that he's wearing is a Godzilla suit from Amazon, except they did not inflate it. And those gloves are from a Velociraptor glove toy set for Jurassic Park. Are you actually kidding me? And the thing is, this could work if it was deliberately cheesy. It's not. It's cheap. They're doing it to phone it in, and we should not reward that. God, I have to brace myself, folks. I really do, and I implore the same for you. Okay, here we go. Fred Seibert and Butch Hartman are the executive producers for the show, since they were involved with the original series being successful, launching it, and so on. But you have Christopher J. Nowak as the showrunner, plus a handful of other writers who have prior experience on other live-action Nickelodeon shows like Danger Force and Sam and Cat. And at the moment of recording, there's only one season of Fairly Odder with a total of 13 episodes. Doesn't sound like a lot, but watch the show.
I'm taking my talents and this sweatshirt back to my house. Waking up in the morning thinking about different things.
Oh, you can kiss that sweatshirt goodbye.
It's torture. It feels like you're stuck in hell for eternity. Now, the show itself is about Vivian Turner, the young cousin of Timmy Turner. She's miserable because her father remarried, and now she's stuck with a new stepmom and a new stepbrother. So Timmy Turner here, who is now an adult going off to college, gives Cosmo and Wanda to Vivian. It's weird because this premise could have worked for an animated series. The annoying little brother who gets into trouble, the ditzy parents, the frustrated and ignored main character. But they took the live action route, which, in my opinion, removes all of the charm from the original series and adds nothing in return. If anything, it hinders the fairy premise. Like Fairly Odder takes the tone that revels in being a cartoon, but transplants it 100% to a live-action show. Human actors talking and moving like cartoons, it feels bizarre. Nothing in the world, from the sets to the dialogue to the gags, are in any way grounded in reality. So the only thing that resembles the real world are the actors themselves. The whole show feels like a fever dream as one-note characters say the same catchphrase over and over again to a laugh track. Like this show doesn't have characters. It's all talking gimmicks. And they're all painfully unfunny. The only things that remain animated are the fairies and like Crocker, and the actual animation itself is terrible. Jorgen doesn't even stick to the ground when standing. And like, what is this walk cycle? Cosmo and Wanda also look bizarre because since they're in the real world with actual actors, the animators added some soft gradient shading to try and better blend them in. It doesn't work. They still stand out because you know, they're cartoons. But now they have an uncanny valley look of their own, with two different rendering techniques conflicting with each other. There's also this drama about the studio that did the animation, how it was outsourced, how it was a small team. Some folks said it was one person in Tijuana. Other folks argue against that. I don't know. I'm gonna look more into it. It's too early to say. I will double back on this in my main video, but something's going on, and it does not look good. Now, as far as the characters go, besides Cosmo and Wanda, who are like rarely in the show, Crocker is the only one that acts like himself because the original voice actor is playing him, which I admit is kind of cool. You also have Vicky, who's back, but it's not done by the voice actor. It's done by someone new, and she's like, has a crush on Crocker.
Crocker, my love, I hope you're proud of me. We are one step closer to getting you out of DPH and wishing our dreams into reality. A 2-bed, half-bath condo with an air fryer in Rancho Cucamonga.
Like, she's an adult, so that's okay, I suppose. But I'm like, why is she crushing on Crocker? It's so weird. I don't know why there's so many, like, female characters in Fairly OddParents that are obsessed over guys, and that's their character. Because, like, Vicky wasn't that in the original series, at least not mostly. Like, I know she has crushes here and there, but, like, this doesn't feel like Vicky. It doesn't, at all. And then you have this side character named Xena, and she is also obsessed about boys, particularly Roy, the stepbrother. And she does this weird thing where she like sniffs him. Okay, that's uncomfortable. I guess we have to keep Dan Schneider's weirdness in the show somehow, right? If you don't know about Dan Schneider, then don't. That guy's bizarre. Also, this show has an obsession with dancing and musical numbers, which feel very out of place. I know that the original series had its fair share of songs, and they fit well into the show. I mean, lest we forget My Shiny Teeth and Me. That's a bop. But the parents here, who are the worst characters in the history of fiction, are dancers and do musical numbers. So we're like cutting to these music bits out of nowhere, and they feel so out of place. Also, the dialogue in the show is torture. It's packed with massive exposition dumps, often spoke at rapid-fire pace.
Okay, do you expect me to apologize for reconnecting with my high school sweetheart last week, marrying her on a whim, quitting my job, selling her house in Oldsburg, and moving to Dimsdale to live with them? Because now that I say it out loud, I realize that was nuts.
It's like even the actors are desperate to get this over with, which, honestly, I don't blame them. I hold nothing against these actors. They're just doing their work. Same thing with the animators. I hold the leaders of the show accountable, and of course, the folks at Paramount Plus who hold the coin purse when it comes to funding this stuff. They clearly wanted to field something quickly with the name Fairly OddParents on it, and instead of going back and doing an animated series completely, which it should have been, they half-assed it. No, they like 95% half-assed it. They 95% assed it, and that's not enough ass. They really didn't put effort into this show. But that's the state of Paramount Plus. They're scrambling to find properties to field because in the 2010s, they didn't have things. You had like the Loud House. That's really about it as far as like animated series go. That's original. They didn't cultivate IP. So now they're like, what do we do? What do we do? 4 SpongeBob spinoffs, a Halo series. Okay, I guess. I don't know. I really don't know what they're trying to do, but clearly they are in panic. And I see this Fairly OddParents live-action reboot to be the result of them just throwing something together without any true intent to tell a good story that needs to be told or have good visuals to present it with. And to do a live-action, like, Nickelodeon comedy series for this doesn't make any sense. Do an animated series or just leave the franchise alone. And I will be back very soon to bring the full hammer down on this franchise and how hard it has fallen. Because, man, I loved this show as a kid. It's not perfect, but it's going down the drain, and it's getting worse. And I fear for it. I truly fear it can go even further down the drain, right down to the sewers with the TMNT. But the TMNT are cool, so, don't pick on them. Go pick on Butch Hartman. No, don't do that either. So, a big shout out to this video sponsor, Keeps. Getting old blows. Trust me, I know, you'll know, we all will know. And a common issue us guys run into is hair loss.
SpongeBob, I have a confession to make.
You're bald?
No, I'm not bald!
Did you know that 2 out of 3 guys will experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time that they're 35? Yeah, it's that common. And the best way to prevent hair loss is to do something about it while you still have hair left. And that is where Keeps comes in. What is Keeps, you ask? Well, it's a subscription service that focuses on making it easier and more affordable for men to treat their male pattern baldness, but doing so online. You got online doctor consultations with real licensed doctors. They will review your information and will then recommend a hair loss treatment plan for you. A plan that offers generic options of the FDA-approved medications for hair loss. That means that these treatments are legit and are way more affordable. And with Keeps, your treatment is shipped directly to your door every 3 months. And guys, communication is key when it comes to this stuff. It can honestly be kind of intimidating at first, but don't worry. Your doctor is always a message away and can be accessed through online doctor messaging 24/7. Do you have questions or concerns about your progress? Well, hit up your doctor online and also track your progress with Keeps Progress Tracking Tool. Once you get everything up and running with your Keeps treatment, you'll start to see results between 4 to 6 months. So if you want to save the hair that you have left, you better act on this fast. Keeps is legit one of the best services when it comes to fighting male pattern baldness. There's a reason why it has more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors, and also why hundreds of thousands of men trust Keeps for their hair loss prevention. So, if you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, then go to keeps.com/Saberspark or click the link in the description down below to receive 50% off your first order. That is keeps.com/Saberspark. Go check them out today.